Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, starring Jerry Springer with Gene Galvin and me. I am Maria Carrelli. We are recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience here in Folk School Coffee Parlor of Ludlow, Kentucky. Now here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Judge Jerry Springer.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoa. Oh, hey. Thanks for coming. Oh, man. Yeah.
Damn.
We have a whole class back there.
Hey, last week we had Maria Carrelli and her band on.
Yes.
And
That was so much
we
fun.
asked them to come back, and they have come back. We're going to hear them
Yay!
again. They're,
So excited.
they're really good, really good. Really cool style of music. And Maria writes original songs, and she's going to do one of those. Hey, damn, I just dropped my phone. Like, bam. And I tell you, I've got this cover for it, and I got this cover on the screen. It did nothing.
Did it just crack?
Hey, let's drop it again. No, it didn't.
Oh.
Let's try it again. I'm
No.
going to push it off. No, we're not.
Oh.
No, we're not going to do that. Not
Yeah.
Hey,
my grandson dropped a phone.
Yeah.
It's no joke. We got him a phone which limits on it, so certain
You got
things
this
he
kid a phone at age,
Yeah, how old is he?
how old is he?
42.
How old's your grandson? How old's your grandson?
He's 10.
What the hell is a 10-year-old kid doing with this?
Well,
phone?
it's just so he can play games on it. In other words, there are all restrictions. He can't get the internet and stuff like that. Anyway, he dropped it down 4 flights.
4 flights.
So he calls me on the house phone,
Yes.
from Chicago.
Yeah.
And, Opa, yeah, I dropped my phone.
Yes.
So I played hardball with him.
Yeah.
I said, well, what kind of phone do you want replacing it?
It did break. 4 flights killed it.
It shattered
It killed it.
Okay. Yeah. So,
If that was a Nokia brick,
It would
That
not
thing would have
not
just-
have hurt it.
yeah.
So you got him another phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I bet it
And
is.
3 more payments, it's taken care of. Yeah.
And speaking of your grandson, you got
Yes.
him a batting coach. He's very good athlete,
he's a
by
good
the way,
athlete.
because I've seen video of him, and I've seen plenty
that was
of
so much
video and pictures of him.
fun. There's a guy who played 8 years in the minor leagues for the Cubs. He was AAA. So he
Yeah.
never quite made it to major, but
Yeah, but he's a good baseball player.
Yeah, and he gives batting lessons, an indoor thing. So I got Richard a whole bunch of batting lessons there, and it was great just to go and see him whack the ball.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, that's cool. I think
gonna be good.
I've been telling you, I think he's going to really be.
Well, he's going to have to
an
support
athlete.
me.
I think so.
Yeah, why don't you ask him if he can take us all on a cruise?
Yeah, it might be. He's going to be the famous one.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of cruises, I got involved in this project, and Maria, I've been looking for kind of a music angle to this too, and I'm going to be a little sketchy about the details because it hasn't been formally announced. But I will tell you this: a major national outdoor gear company, big time company. When it gets announced, everybody will know who they are. They've gotten involved. There are people from Louisville, Kentucky, and from the Cincinnati area are involved. I got involved for the cycling side of it. So here's what it is. 250 miles long from Portsmouth, Ohio, Rivertown, east, going towards Pittsburgh, all the way to Louisville, Kentucky is 250 river miles. All along the river are roads on both sides of the river. So Ohio on the one side, US Route 52.
Right.
And then on the Kentucky side, I think it's Kentucky Route 8. And these people, and by the way, the canoe, they're paddling it. So there's going to be some people out on the river paddling in these 10-person Native American style canoes from the 17 and 1800s, Voyagers.
Yeah.
And then so they'll be going down the river, team of 10, the first leg from Portsmouth to Cincinnati, then 40 paddlers, 4 boats, 10 each, from Cincinnati to Louisville. Then on the roadways will be roughly equal number of cyclists. The point of this is twofold: to digitally map the river as a trail, as a recreational trail, to get people to think of the Ohio River is a paddling resource, as well as the roads are run alongside of it as a cycling resource. So the people doing this are going to digitally map all of the resources along the way, places where you can camp. We're going to camp each night, and we'll have some support vehicles that'll move the gear forward. It's going to take about 8 days to do this. And camping, couch surfing, Airbnbs, B&Bs, motels, hotels, ice cream parlors, microbreweries, vineyards, etc.
That sounds like so much fun.
Doesn't that sound like a blast?
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's just something fun.
So you're doing.
I'm going to do
it.
I'm leading the cycling contingent that'll be paralleling, and each night the cyclists and the paddlers will all camp together. But the idea, and then out of it will come an app for your phone that if you're a cyclist or a paddler, you'll be able to look and see where all of these resources are. It's very cool.
You'll have to tell me about it.
So,
Yeah, well, I thought might be one more time, and then maybe Jerry would get off his butt and do something.
as long as the seat is padded.
But you want to know something? I was thinking, what if, I haven't even floated this idea yet, but what if along the way there would be some songwriters who are part of this, who are either hiking, running, biking, because you've got roadways, you could do all three of those, or paddling, who would then write some original music about the history of the river and how it was used, because back in the 1800s, the Native Americans, the Shawnee in particular, just used the hell out of the river. That's how they got up and down. They would paddle back up against the current. And they would go as far as Fort Pitt, which was Pittsburgh, and as far down past the falls of Louisville. And so there's plenty of material for some original songs, and maybe jamming every night as people are camping could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It
could be like a tour. Like
yeah,
the
like a tour.
Musicians like drive down in the van with the gear,
Yeah.
and then the people on the river and the cyclists, they meet up at the venue
Yeah, it's
and hear the band play that night. And you guys
we ought
go
to
on
talk
to the next.
because maybe there's a way to kind of pitch to
Man, that could be really
these
cool.
organizers of adding a music element to help draw crowds, because they do
Mm-hmm.
want to. And again, the details will come out later. I'm being pretty sketchy here, but there will be stops that they'll make to draw attention to the digital maps, and they're fundraising for a couple very good causes.
Yeah.
That are river related and inner city recreation causes. I'll leave it at that.
Nice.
So it's it's all like a nonprofit running this whole thing. It's not a money making venture.
And there are limo companies that can follow the road.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
right down. No, but Jerry, wouldn't that be? You would do that. I mean, because I know you wouldn't paddle across the Atlantic Ocean like Bryce Carlson. You're sure as hell not going to do unlimited mileage. I'd love to take you through that again, but I've sworn I'm not going to discuss that
On
anymore.
behalf of everybody, please don't.
Or rock
Yeah.
climb in the Red River Gorge.
Oh,
but for God's sake, could you pedal a bicycle for 20, 30 miles a day? Which
Let
is
me
all
tell
it
you
is.
what I have done.
Yes.
Actually, now that I think about it, for Christmas, Hanukkah, Mickey got me a helmet because I have a bike,
Nice.
and she wanted me to go with her. So I went around the neighborhood
Yeah, wearing your new helmet, your Christmas
wearing
helmet.
my new helmet.
Yeah.
First of all, it messes your hair.
Yeah.
That it does.
And
Those
that's
helmets,
really
you come
important.
out, your hair looks awful.
Yeah, you got
I can't tell you
helmet
how.
hair, we call
Oh,
it. Yeah.
it took me an hour just to have it coiffed afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah.
So you're
we go-
riding. You are riding.
for like 45 minutes.
Well, that's
Right,
good.
Yeah, but I need a seat that's comfortable.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that's
my
the
legs
giveaway.
didn't bother me.
Can't
I
you-
could do
Yeah,
that.
it's
I
just your
wasn't out
butt.
of breath or anything.
Yeah.
But man, it's tough on your seat.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you could just strap the one that you
yeah,
bring.
the one. Keep talking, Maria.
You mean that cushion?
This is
The
this
butt
is-
pad, yeah.
This is my business venture.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If someone could come up with a nice pillow that I could sit on while I'm riding
There
the bike.
are, by the way, because I do a lot of riding, and there are saddles, as they're called. You go into bike shops, and the bigger and the fatter the saddles are, the
More than make fun of you?
more they do make fun of it. Yeah, thank you. I was
I
trying
don't
to figure out
mind
how I was
being-
going to say it, but
I have made a whole career out of being made fun of.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
There is no era of my
Yeah.
life that there hasn't been a reason for people to make fun of me.
Yes.
So I don't mind getting, you call it a saddle?
Saddle.
I'm
Or
going
seat,
right in there
bike
because
seat,
there's
saddle.
a bike store down there in
Yeah.
Sarasota. I am getting myself a saddle. I'm going to saddle up.
Yes. I can actually tell. I can give you some tricks of the trade. There is a thing that it goes under the saddle that is the tube that goes where the seat goes. It's the seat's on top of.
Is it
And
anything like a colonoscopy?
No, it's the opposite.
Ew.
There is a device that is a shock absorber, and it's sort of concealed. You don't really notice it much. And it gives some cushion. So instead of getting a big, fat, goofy-looking saddle, you get a seat post shock that gives it some bounce.
Why don't I just take a car?
Yeah, well, I think Mickey has the answer for that. Get off your ass and do something.
She's really pushing
No,
me.
because the fact of the matter is, all kidding aside, and Maria, I know you because we've talked about this, and I've been riding and I've seen you running. You're an exerciser, and you probably have been your whole life,
Yeah.
I guess. Or
Well, you
Yeah, I
weigh
like to-
12 pounds, for God's sakes. What are you exercising for?
I do love running.
and you
I
probably do
yeah.
it not just for the physicality of it, but there's a whole mental thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a
and I
good
feel that way
meditation
about
almost.
stuff I do. Yeah, and it is good. It is good to get into a habit at any age, and that's
Yes.
probably what Mickey's talking about.
yeah.
Let's go
I mean,
do
I
some
should.
stuff.
Don't
Yes.
make
You
us
live
do.
in-
Don't make us make you do yoga again, Jerry.
Oh no.
Well, she says the habits you have now are the habits you bring with you into the home.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
So whatever you do,
Yeah.
that's what's ahead for me.
And it literally is, I believe, a habit. I had some injuries. No, I told you about it. I had hurt my back, broke a rib.
See
or something.
all this. You're the physical guy,
Yeah, I
right?
know,
You
I know.
do all this exercising. I'm going to ride
Yeah,
a bike
yeah.
all the way to Cleveland. All this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and you're the guy that's walking around with a limp
Yes.
that hurt your ribs, that hurt your
And
hip, your knees.
and got hurt how?
Ouch.
And got hurt by doing physical things.
Exactly.
So if you sit in a chair all the time, no, you can't get
No,
hurt.
the only thing that happened to me, I fell asleep.
Yes,
And I tipped over as I was falling asleep. That was thing. So now I just sit on the couch. So when I fall over, it's right on a pillow. So I'm okay. A lot of people don't know that. Don't be sitting in a chair. Make sure you're sitting on a couch when you take your naps.
It is annoying that he might live to
That's
like
the riskiest thing Jerry's ever
I
done.
know.
is
It's annoying.
fall
It'll be
asleep.
annoying if he lives to like 120. And it's like, it's not supposed to be that way. How the hell does he get to live to 120? He
all I
didn't do
can do is-
anything. Yeah. No, but I have a gym in my neighborhood. It's part of my
Yeah, Jim
condo
Jones,
community.
he lives down the block. That's the only gym I have in my
And you get
neighborhood.
out of the habit of going, and you've got it. It is all this stuff
It is a
is
habit.
it's
You're
fun.
right. You're right.
And it's
Yeah.
good, but it is a habit. You feel that way about running. I mean, you got to kind of,
Oh yeah.
make
Most
sure.
days I don't want to.
but you do.
But I do. I get
You
out
push
there.
yourself, and then
Yeah.
once you're out there, you're probably.
Oh
digging
yeah.
it.
I think I mean, in all seriousness, I think it's really great for your mental health too. Just to like get up and move and
It is. I mean, everyone says. I mean, I know that. And
Yep.
my doctor says it all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
You do any exercise?
Yeah.
And then he says,
Well-
why do I keep asking you?
Yeah.
It goes on to the next question.
The fact is, you are though. You got a helmet.
I got a helmet. That's something.
All right,
to
serious
see at the
question.
helmet.
You got a helmet. You rode once, 45 minutes, which, by the way, that's a good amount of riding, I think.
Well, I rode more over the holidays.
You did it multiple times?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Well, so you're into it now. Oh, good for you.
No, I pray for rain every day. So Mickey won't come and say, come on. We're
No,
going.
good for you.
She
Good
doesn't
for you.
ask anymore. She says, we're going.
did she go too? Do you guys
Oh,
ride?
yeah, she does. She's
Aw,
great
that's
about
cute.
that.
And this is in Florida where the weather is
it's-
conducive for this.
Yeah. I'm going to try to move back to Chicago or something, or Cincinnati, where 6 months a
Try
year
to
I
get
know
out.
I can get a vacation.
Well, I think it's really good what you're doing. Hey, I have this idea, and I want to ask you about Iowa Congressman Steve King in a second.
right.
But before I do, we were goofing around a little bit earlier, and there's an old song called "The Banks of the Ohio."
Right.
And Maria, you know that song. It's
Yeah.
a traditional song. It's probably public domain or something. It's been around forever. Everybody, a lot of people have covered that over the years. And when we do the music segment, change things up a little bit. Instead of doing Down by the Riverside, we use that as a closing. We used to do Irene Goodnight. We've changed it up a little bit now and then. I think that it'd be cool to hear Jerry sing with the Maria Carrelli band.
Yeah.
And what if
Let's
we
do it.
actually walked over, when we get to that, it's going to be
Okay.
in a second, walk him over to that microphone and
I've gotta
sing
walk?
and do some harmonies? Can
Yeah.
you walk that far to that
Gene's
microphone?
implementing exercise.
I'm getting
into that.
exercise right here on the show. Yeah, we'll do the Banks
Yeah.
of the
Well,
Ohio.
that is
sounds
something to look
awesome.
forward
And I
to.
can
So we're
look
going to
the
hear
words
you
here.
do another one of your songs
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
with
yeah.
your band, and then we'll do a Banks of the Ohio with Jerry and Maria singing together. That's
Which,
going to be
by the way,
unbelievable.
That'll be awesome.
For those who don't know, we literally at this coffee parlor are on the banks of the Ohio.
We are. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
could walk in 2 minutes down to the
Yeah.
Iowa River.
So
from
we're
Probably
on the
not
banks of the
even.
Ohio.
Like a minute, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, 1
you
minute.
could-
Yeah.
Me.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll roll Jerry down. We have to lead him. We're going to get, hey, you know what you
It
need?
takes me about a minute to stand up, and then we go from there.
You know what you need? I just thought of
What do I
this.
need? Yes.
Just thought of this. Do you know how they've become very popular? Service dogs. You need a service dog to help you with your life. And when we get
Yeah.
that service dog for you,
Yeah.
they'll say, well, Gene, is it sight? No, sight's fine. Well, is he have no use of his legs? No, he can walk around. He just needs help. I mean, he needs help in lots of ways. But that service dog, you could just follow
Yeah.
your dog.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's
I mean, we
that's
need to
such
get him a service dog.
stupid idea.
Hey, speaking
Yes.
of stupid ideas,
Yeah.
this Congressman Steve King, Iowa Congressman,
Yep.
says that it's beyond stupid. He says things that are just flat out evil. You
Well,
been
let's call it
following
like
that?
it is. They're
Yeah.
racist. In fact, the stuff that he's saying is racist, but there even was some discussion at NBC whether the anchors could say that it's racist. And they
Yeah,
actually, at the highest executive level of the company, of NBC, the network, they made the decision that they can call it racist.
After this morning saying that they couldn't.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
first said they couldn't, and now they got
and now,
such
and
pushback.
so, boy, everyone's onto it now because it's obviously racist. And I got to tell you, this was not what I intended to talk about originally tonight. I literally threw down some notes in the last hour before we got here because it's just something that got to me. Actually, it was yesterday, the Republican Party stripped the Iowa Congressman Steve King from all committees that he is on. He was chairman of some, but they just took him off all the committees based on his interview with the New York Times, where he said, and I'm quoting here, he said, "When did being a white nationalist or white supremacist become offensive?" Now, this guy has a history of racist comments. I mean, there's no other word to put it but racist. He's a white supremacist, and he says, what's wrong about that? In fact, they have a video of him about 10 years ago, between 10 and 15 years ago, where he is proposing a wall on the border to keep Mexicans and people of color out. And he had a model of a wall there as he was speaking in the well of Congress. And he had a model there, and then he brought out some wire that he put on top of the wall, like a demonstration, and he says, you make this an electric wire, and he says, this is how we keep cattle from, coming into our property or getting out. So it's effective. We could do that, and then these migrants wouldn't be coming over the wall. And it's one racist comment after another. So, yesterday and today, various Republicans were being asked, what they thought about this. And of course, they all voted to get him off the committee, saying this is not what we're about. This is totally offensive language. And so when you hear all of that, whether it was Romney, whether it was McConnell saying, this guy ought to find another line of work, all very admirable comments. And you would like to think that they all believed that and said it. And so you can't criticize what they said. What struck me and why I wanted to talk about it for a few moments tonight is, first of all, why are they just complaining now? This guy has been saying this stuff, and there's a whole list of stuff he's been saying, for 10, 15 years. Why suddenly now did they decide to say it? Well, the answer is they've just been through the November election, and all of a sudden Congress has been turned over to the Democrats. And the Democrats were going to move to get this guy removed. And the Republicans they wanted to get ahead of the story. So they decided to do it because they knew the Democrats were going to do it and they didn't have the votes to stop it. And they saw what the results of the last election. So to give themselves cover, they suddenly said it. So that's one of the reasons they just picked now. Otherwise, why would you just pick this week compared to every other week or every other month or year that Stephen King has been saying this stuff, campaigning on this stuff? Also, the president, Trump, has been supporting King and backing him throughout his career, including recently. Trump says, and I'm quoting, he's talking about King, "We think exactly the same way. We don't have to compare notes. I support all his positions." And by the way, in the last day, after the Republicans booted King, Trump has had no comment about it. But up until 2 days ago, he vocally supported King, would go out and campaign for him, say before crowds, and they have this all on tape, "This is what we need to hear in America. He's right. He was one of the forerunners of this." And then it struck me the kind of things that Trump has been saying over the years. And I guess my question ultimately will be, if you're saying this about Stephen King, a congressman, that his racist remarks have no place in our government, why wouldn't you say the same thing about Trump? If it's no place for this kind of language and these kind of views in the United States Congress, why is it okay in the White House? An innocent question. To the Republicans, I say, you raised the issue. You held this big, stand. We are not going to permit this. And yet, with the president, you think it's okay. And these are some of Trump's statements over the year. I just picked a few. When LeBron James was being interviewed by Don Lemon, the African-American anchor at CNN, Trump said, "Don Lemon is the dumbest man on television, and think about it, he made LeBron James look smart. And who can do that?" Maxine Waters, the congresswoman from California, African-American. He calls her low IQ. Charlottesville, the marches with the neo-Nazis. Well, they're nice people on both sides, he says. People crossing the Mexican border, they're animals. They're rapists. They're all bringing drugs. NFL players protesting their racial treatment, he blasts their right to protest. A judge that deals with his case with the Trump University can't listen to the judge, he says, because he's of Mexican heritage. He talks about, pardon the language, but I'm quoting him, shithole countries. The whole birther movement with Obama. In other words, Trump has been saying these same racist things for years. And the Republicans don't say anything about it. So therefore, this particular rant of mine is not against Trump. It's against the Republican Party. It's against the McConnells of the world. It's against people that keep supporting this party right now. You want to be a lifelong Republican? God bless you. But there has to be a moral compass for our political parties. There has to be a line which you say, this is not what we represent. This is every line you use to censor Stephen King, a congressman from Iowa, which is picking low-hanging fruit. That's easy. You think you can have a clear conscience? Well, I came out against that Iowa congressman. Oh, great. You're definitely going to heaven. No. Stand up, McConnell. Stand up. You guys had the Congress. You had the Senate. You had the Supreme Court. You had the White House. You had every element of power in this government. And you never stood up to Trump on his racist comments. I mean, really. And you have a chance now. You know what you can do? Open the government now and deal with the wall later, because you and I both know that the wall has nothing to do with securing our borders. What, 6 people came through over the last year or whatever? 6 people. Let's spend $5.7 billion. Several hundred people came over the border from Canada who had criminal records. So the wall has nothing to do with security. People that are bringing drugs in or have bad records or whatever, they're coming through the wall of entry, through the port of entry. That's where they're coming through, or they're flying into our airports. That's where it's all happening. The terrorists on 9/11, they didn't come over our border. They flew in. So you know the only reason for the wall and Mexico is because they're brown. That's the truth. And you can make all the excuses you want, but, you know, if we're sitting in a restaurant or in a bar or whatever, and you and I are talking, you can say that, but you know that I know that you're coming up with some rationale to support him. And yet, you condemn Stephen King when you're perfectly okay to have that kind of language and view represent the United States of America from the White House.
All right, we've got Maria Carrelli back. Maria is obviously the third voice of our podcast. You've been hearing her through this episode, but she's also a singer-songwriter. She has a band called the Maria Carrelli Band. And
that is an original name.
Well,
holy cow. How did you think of that?
Good Italian young woman.
Man.
I'm Italiano too. My
Talk
mom's
about
name was
creativity.
Banini. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you have many
I'm
N's
Italiano,
and-
yeah. And by the way, you can hear her music at mariacarrelli.com, MariaCarrelli.com. And they're doing stuff on Instagram, and she was telling us last week, we begged them to come back. They did. But they've got some stuff coming up, might be a music video, but their stuff's getting out there. This is a great sound.
She's great.
Is rockabilly a fair description, or is that the wrong way of saying it? What do you
I'd
think?
probably say like Americana or alternative country.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but it's got some good
umbrella, yeah.
electric instruments.
Yeah.
It's not just acoustic.
Yeah.
Got a drummer, and so do a song for us. This is a song you wrote, correct?
Yeah, this is a song I wrote. This one is called Strings on My Guitar.
All right.
And this is going to be the single off of my
I love
new
that
album.
song.
And it's actually going to be my debut solo album.
Nice.
So
And by the way, if you're watching on Facebook Live, a lot of people do that. Pay attention to Maria's picking ability, because you work at it. I know you do. I see you working on it, and I see the progression. And there are there's bass guitar and electric guitar, but Maria's a good picker too. So here we
Thanks,
go. Maria
Gene.
Carrelli and her band.
All right. 1, 2, 3. I love you more than cigarettes. I love you more than booze. Between you and an apple pie, I wouldn't have choose. Now I know the rest are bad for me, and you're the best by far, but you'll never be those strings on my guitar. I love you more than speckled skies on cool, crisp nights. Love you more than the days we get through without even one fight. And I love you more than love itself, but here's the cheesy part, that you'll never be those strings on my guitar. Those strings on my guitar get me exactly what I need. Put food in my face, beer in my hand, and something up my sleeve. Well, don't get me wrong, you're in this song, and true love is in my heart, but you'll never be those strings on my guitar. I got you know how much I do, and there ain't no man in this land can hold a flame to you. We'll be as good as bronze, just as long as you understand this part, that you'll never be those strings on my guitar. Ooh, I love you more than moonshine, love you more than gin. No amount of cocaine in this world could do you in. I'd ride you over my pickup truck, though I wouldn't get too far, but you'll never be those strings on my guitar. Now strings on my guitar get me exactly what I need. Put food in my face, beer in my hand, and something up my sleeve. Well, don't you get me wrong, you're in this song and love is in my heart, but you'll never be strings on my guitar. Go ahead there, Nick. Strings on my guitar give me exactly what I need. Put food in my face, beer in my hand, something up my sleeve. Don't you get me wrong, you're in this song and love is in my heart, but you'll never be strings on my guitar. No, you'll never be the strings on my guitar.
Bravo! Bravo! Oh, man. Oh, that is a great. I'm glad that's your single that you're coming out with. I love that song.
Thanks.
Oh, that's great.
Very good. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
And introduce the band again real fast, because
Yeah.
the guy doing the picking on that was not Maria. That was
Oh, that was all me. I'm just kidding. That is Nick Giese over here on the electric guitar, and
Very
he
good,
has
Nick.
a few different musical projects as well. As you can hear, his talent stretches
Yeah.
far and wide.
Yep.
And we
So
got
does his beard.
and we've got Nick Blasky back there on the drums.
yeah. Nick.
Hey,
Talented drummer, yeah. And then Lenny Hickey over here on the bass guitar.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, Jerry, step over there. This
Oh,
is going to
man,
be
I'm so
unique.
nervous.
Jerry Springer. He comes from roots music back in the day when he was in college. I don't know. We've talked about this before, but let me update people or remind people. But Jerry, back in the 1960s, as a student at Tulane University, was a folk singer and did some stuff there, did some stuff after college, played out, as we say, played up in Mount Adams, a neighborhood of Cincinnati, Mahogany Hall. So he knows a song called Banks of the Ohio, and we're right literally on the banks of the Ohio. Turns out Maria Carrelli and her band, they know that song too. So they're going to do it. They're going to take us out on banks.
this is good. This could be a career.
Could be a career.
No, it can't. No, it can't.
No.
I should say, and thank you for that wonderful introduction, Gene.
You're very welcome,
But
Jay.
I do have a CD.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do, actually.
Yeah, it's a 2-year CD, 7% interest. And No, actually, no.
Fact of the matter is, you have a CD, and why the hell are they stored in my tiny condo?
Yes,
those leftover
ton of
CDs. That's true, they are.
But actually, we forgot to put them out for Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's a big seller. But people bought the CD, I should tell you, because you know how sometimes you have a wobbly table in the kitchen? If you take my CD and place it under the shortest leg, it
stabilizes that table.
It stabilizes the table. You don't spill coffee. It's great.
Go.
It's been a big seller. All right, this is not rehearsed. We're recording here in a nice little coffee shop here in Ludlow, Kentucky. Are you playing background music, or why am I talking? And we're right here on the banks of the Ohio, and you notice my accent suddenly got a little more Kentucky, a little more the Ohio River, and it's a great community to be from, to grow up, to raise your kids, but every once in a while, a whole bunch of things happen right here on the Ohio. Let me tell you one story. I asked my love to take a walk, just a little walk, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio, and only saying that you'll be mine, and in no other arms twine, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. I held an eye against her breast, as into my arms she pressed. She cried, "Oh, Lee, don't you murder me. I'm not prepared for eternity." And only say